Hello and welcome back to Mr. Hall's Read Alouds. This is part 3 of Desmond Cole Ghost Patrol, the Sleepwalking Snowman. Let's begin. Chapter 7, Wake Up. For the first time ever, Desmond Cole didn't chase after a creepy monster. Let's go back to Carter's house to check out the Ghost Patrol scene, was all he said. On the way there, I kept checking for that snowman. I was still in shock. Did a snowman just come to life and chase us? It was too crazy to be real. The good thing was that the snowman wasn't following us anymore. Plus, Cindy Lee was scared away. We were safe. For now. Back at the Ghost Patrol scene, Desmond studied the area inside the yellow tape even more carefully now. I must have missed something, he told me. I sniffled. Being pelted with snowballs and chased in the cold air had given me a runny nose. I needed a tissue. Fast. I'll be right back, I said as I ran to Carter's front door. After a few knocks, Carter answered, still looking super sleepy. I must have woken him. Did you solve the case yet? He asked. No, not yet, but we found your snowman, I said. I could feel my snot turning into an icicle. Do you have a tissue? Sure, yeah. Come in, Carter said. There are tissues in the kitchen. He went to get them, and while he was gone, I looked outside the window. Desmond was walking around with a flashlight strapped to his head. He was carrying a new gadget, something I had never seen before. This was a strange one. It was a box that glowed, and it had a bunch of antennas pointing in different directions. Every few seconds, it changed color. Now, what was that? Then something else caught my eye. The branches in the trees next to Carter's house were shaking, and a bunch of squirrels darted into the yard. As the furry critters passed Desmond, a white blob slipped out into the light. It was the snowman! Desmond was so focused on that glowing gadget that he didn't even know the snowman was there. Look out! I yelled, but there was no way he could hear me from inside the house. I had to think fast. That was when I got an idea. If I splashed the snowman with hot water, it would be Meltville for that giant snowball for sure. Carter! I yelled as I raced down the hall. I need a thermos! In the kitchen, I found Carter completely asleep at the table. Wake up, I said, shaking him. I need a thermos. I have to melt your snowman fast. But I couldn't wait for Carter to wake up. I looked around the kitchen, found a few of my own, and filled them with hot water. As I ran back outside, I could hear Carter waking up. What's going on? He muttered. Andres, wait! But I wasn't going to wait. I had to save Desmond. Except when I opened the front door and ran into the yard, the snowman was gone. Desmond looked up from his weird device, which was glowing orange. He pointed to the thermoses. Did you make me some hot tea? Huh? I asked. I was too busy searching the yard. The snowman was here just a minute ago. Desmond said, I didn't see anything. I wondered if it could have been all in my imagination, but the evidence was right there, giant footprints in the snow. Desmond, look, I said, pointing. See, the snowman was here. That was when Carter came outside and walked sleepily across the snow. Guys, he said, rubbing his eyes, I just had the weirdest dream. Chapter 8, Thumpity Thump Thump. Carter made us come back inside on account of he wasn't wearing his shoes. He went to his room. It was covered in posters of snowboarders and skiers and speed skaters. He even had a sled on the wall next to posters of igloos and snowmen. Wow, I said, you really love winter, don't you? Oh yeah, Carter said, smiling. It's my favorite season. Never mind that, Desmond said impatiently. Put on your shoes and tell us about your dreams so we can go find that snowman. You were in it, Desmond, Carter said. And so were you, Andres. It was so strange. In the dream, I was chasing both of you when all of a sudden we were all snowball attacked by Cindy Lee. But for some reason, I didn't run away from her. I stood up to her, and she ran away from me. Weird, right? Wait, I said. That happened in real life, only you weren't the one chasing us. The snowman was. You were dreaming something that really happened? That's impossible, Desmond said. As impossible as ghosts, monsters, and zombies, I asked, because I had seen it all in Curseville. I might know what's going on here, I said. Have you ever heard of a golem? Both Desmond and Carter shook their heads. There is a golem in one of my video games, I told them. You see, golems are these creatures that are made out of, like, mud or clay. But then they come to life and have to do whatever the person who made them wants them to do. I don't get it, Desmond said. The snowman is made of snow, not mud or clay. Maybe snow works the same way, I suggested. Carter yawned. Do you think I'm controlling the snowman? I shrugged. Maybe. I don't know how it all works. This is just a guess. Desmond still looked confused. Why would Carter make the snowman chase after us? This was the first time I knew something Desmond didn't. Golems aren't all that smart, I explained. They do what you want, but they like to do things their own way. Desmond and Carter still looked like they didn't understand. So I continued talking. Carter needed us to help him with his problem, I said. Maybe the snowman thought it needed to catch us. Carter shook his head and yawned again. But I didn't tell the snowman to do anything. I promise. You've been with me this whole time, and I wasn't even around to see the snowman. That got me thinking. Every time we saw the snowman come to life, Carter was home, asleep. That's it, I said, clapping my hands. The snowman is sleepwalking, and Carter, you're controlling it when you sleep. That's why you've been having such weird dreams. Finally, Desmond nodded and turned to Carter. Yes, Andres is right. Let's see what happens if you take a nap for a little while. I am pretty sleepy, Carter said. I'll just lie down for a few minutes. He climbed into his bed and he was fast asleep in no time. Desmond and I stood there, not sure what to expect. A few seconds later, we heard something from downstairs. Thumpity-thump-thump. The sound was getting closer and closer. Thumpity-thump-thump. Suddenly, Carter's bedroom door swung open. The sleepwalking snowman had found us. Chapter 9. Catch Me If You Can. I heard a scream, and then another, and then another, but of course, it was only me screaming. The snowman blocked the whole doorway. It was impossible to escape. Desmond yelled, "Let's wake up Carter and stop him from dreaming." We shook Carter, but it was no use. The kid could sleep. The snowman entered the room, creeping closer and closer. I swallowed hard. Remember, Carter doesn't want us to hurt us, so the snowman won't hurt us. Then the snowman launched a snowball that hit me square in the face. Splat! Desmond cleared his throat. I thought it didn't want to hurt us. Maybe I was wrong, I said as the snowman loomed over us with its arms outstretched. Haven't you ever been wrong before? I screamed again and waited for the snowman to grab us, but before that could happen, Desmond grabbed the sled from Carter's wall. Get behind me, Desmond said, holding the sled in front of us like a shield. The snowman pelted the sled with snowballs. Let's get out of here, Desmond cried. We moved around the snowman, then bolted out of the room, down the stairs, and through the front door at top speed. As soon as we hit the yard, we both hopped on the sled. We had to get away from here. Only we didn't get far. In a flash, the snowman jumped out of Carter's bedroom window and landed right in front of us. It was quick for a pile of snow. Hold on tight, Desmond said, swerving around the frozen beast. The sled was fast, but the snowman was faster. Much faster. He was so fast that it seemed to be skating on the snow. The snowman reached out to grab me, but it ended up with just a piece of my scarf. Let go, I screamed. No way was I going to give up that scarf my mom made me. So I tugged it back and almost fell off the sled. Desmond held me as we picked up speed. Where are we going? I asked Desmond, wiping the snow from my eyes. We need to find Cindy Lee, he said. I have a plan. Desmond Colt always had a plan. We flew into the park, weaving in and out of the trees. Desmond and I looked back and saw that the snowman was still chasing us. What's the plan? I asked as we hit a hill and slid down it. Remember when Carter said he always wanted to win a snowball fight against Cindy Lee? Desmond asked. Well, I bet if the snowman sees Cindy Lee, it will stop chasing us and fight with her. That was a great idea, with only one problem. We didn't find Cindy Lee. Cindy Lee found us, which meant we were stuck between a snowball bully and a sleepwalking snowman again. Thwack! Ow! I screamed as Cindy Lee bombarded us with snowballs. That girl had some kind of aim. Luckily, Desmond's plan worked. When the sleepwalking snowman saw Cindy Lee, it froze. What came next was the most epic snowball fight in history. It was so awesome that Desmond and I stopped sledding so we could watch. At first, the snowman had the upper hand, but then Cindy Lee came roaring back. As the snowballs hurled across the park, Desmond whispered to me, Andres, give me your boots. Are you really going to make fun of my boots at a time like this? I snapped. No way, Desmond said. We need your boots now more than ever. Please. I sighed. Then I took off my boots and handed them over to him. My dry, warm toes were now super cold and wet. This idea had better be a good one. Desmond snuck over behind the snowman. There was no way the creature was going to notice him. It was too busy fighting snowballs at Cindy Lee. Then Desmond set my boots on the ground. As the snowman dodged the snowballs, it stepped into my boots, and it must have been like stepping into the sun. The snowman started to sweat like crazy. Then I realized that it wasn't sweating, it was melting. It didn't take long before the snowman was nothing more than a large puddle. Cindy Lee stopped throwing snowballs as I ran over to get my boots. Ew, gross. They smelled like wet dog. My poor toasty boots were ruined, but the sleepwalking snowman case was solved. Chapter 10, Melt Away. It turns out that all Carter needed was a good night's sleep. His tired grumpiness had turned the snowman into a grumpy golem. But after some rest, Carter was able to build a new, nicer snowman. I know, it sounds crazy. Why build another snowman? Well, because golems can be useful. While the whole town was asleep, Carter and his snowman built a perfect winter park for everyone to enjoy. We called it the Curseville Winter Wonderland, and it had everything. An ice castle with ice slides, a hot chocolate fountain, an igloo bouncy house, and an icicle cave. There were even lanes for sledding races around the whole place. Plus, there were forts that were filled with round, fluffy snowballs for snowball fights. They were perfect for throwing. It almost felt good to get hit with one. Almost. It was hard to believe that Carter created all this in his sleep. Talk about wild dreams. No one knew where the snow forts came from, but no one cared. Now people come from all over to visit Curseville's famous winter wonderland. But they have no idea it's a park that was built by a snowman. Like I said before, winter is weird, but I think that's what makes it the best. And that brings us to an end with Desmond Cole Ghost Patrol, the Sleepwalking Snowman. Next on the list is Desmond Cole Ghost Patrol Campfire Stories. But until then, have a great day.